couple of dollars. If we had it in the house, we'd just use that. But I realized that like last time I went to super glue something, which was like my Sunnies, all the glue had like glued itself up kind of thing, which, you know, to me it's always funny. But yeah, I couldn't do anything about that. Oh, I do have some coffees on me. I was going to say, if I'm going to go cutting down trees, I want drinks. I don't think I want run, water, carrying capacity. That's not going to help me. I'm going to be over near the wastelands. So I'm just kind of making sure I've got shit on me. Oops, that ain't where you go. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's give you an extra feed. And then we'll head over because it's dawn. I'm going to need to chop down just so many trees today, unfortunately. I'm going to put this in here, I think. Comfortability always outweighs looks for me. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, look, I've got... They're technically men's thongs because, like, literally, like, the women's thongs and stuff like that always fucking break. They always, like, they're super cheap and nasty and they always break. And I hate that shit. They're so thin. And I'm like, pretty much since I lost my last job and since streaming has become my new job, I've pretty much mostly only been wearing thongs if I leave the house. Like when I'm home, I don't wear footwear, right? In winter, I might wear socks. But like the rest of the time, I don't really wear anything on my feet. And so when I've been going out, I've been wearing these thongs to death. A lot more than I probably usually would have. But they're still pretty comfortable because they're men's thongs. They're really thick. Like the sole of them are really thick. So automatically I have a lot of padding between me and the ground, which is always really nice. And then, and it's so loud. I'm going to get like next tree down, I think. Yeah, like this one maybe. Yeah, anyway. So they've been really, really comfortable and they're a lot more sturdy. They were like $10. They were like $10. They weren't like the nicest looking thing, but they were really comfortable. And like you can't really go wrong with a shoe that's like $10. Like if it breaks, it breaks. If it's shit, you replace it, like whatever. But yeah, this one's got the absolute life out of it. I feel like it's made up for so many shoes that were like $20 and just shit that are just like broken. This guy is usually rougher on stuff. Yeah, I figure you guys generally are less likely to replace something as frequently kind of thing. Like I know that a lot of like women's shoes are fashion stuff. Like, you know, it's a choice to have something slightly more fashionable that doesn't last as long because, you know, you're not probably going to wear that into the next fashion season kind of thing. That's what I've always figured, right? But I prefer comfort over like fashion. I'm also generally a minimalist in general. I don't like a lot of detail. I don't like a lot of flair. Like if something comes in like the color black, we're sweet. We've already hit the quota for me, you know. I know that black is a shade as well, just to clarify that. I replace when it's not functional. Yeah, I do the same thing. So I do that with basically everything. And sometimes, you know, I've learnt my lesson. There's some things that you gotta kind of do that too. Like replace it before it's non-functional for like health or whatever. Like at the moment, my computer chair, the seat that I'm sitting on, is pretty well fucked, right? It's I've had a look at it. I had a look at it over Christmas and stuff because I'm like, oh, maybe like a screw or something is unhinged or whatever because it's really, really rickety. And Azula sits on the back of my chair and she's several kilos of a little chunk cat, right? So she's got some chunk to her, but like she's able to pull the whole seat away from me. And it's one piece. It's one like L-bend piece of chair because I like those. They last me a lot longer than the pieces that are two and you connect them together kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't know what on this chair is breaking, but something is breaking. This chair already broke once. Let me clarify that. So like a few years ago, this chair literally just snapped one day. The fucking, I don't know if I fell over sitting on the chair or something. I'm pretty sure something happened. And I went to sit down and the, like, I don't know, the canister shaft thing that the gas cylinder sits in, fused together. Like something happened, right? I remember now. The spindle at the bottom, the wheel spindle cracked, and when I sat on it, it basically like forced the shaft and the base of the chair to kind of like meld together, because, you know, it was just like pressure in a direction it was not supposed to go. So we replaced that. We replaced all that once, and the chair's been functional for like who knows how many more years. But now it's getting to a point where it's like, it feels like if I was to lean back, like I have to lock my knees to the desk before I tilt my body back, because it feels like it's going to fall off. And I've checked all the screws and it's really, really secure, so I don't know what part of it's broken, but I think it's like maybe the back, the L shape to this thing has like started to like maybe go or something. Because it's like if you can picture like an executive business chair, that's the kind of chair that I have. I find them really comfortable because I can sit cross-legged on them. They're a bit bigger kind of thing. And yeah, I always found that all the little like sporty kind of computer chairs that are more like a bucket seat like my car has, right? I kind of find those are pretty uncomfortable to sit in for a long time because I can't cross my legs when I sit on them. So yeah. But I know this thing will break eventually, but when it does, like, it is worn to buggery. The cat's uses a scratching thing, like the leather stuff is cracked all over the place. Like, it hurts the back of my legs sometimes from like the cracked leather. The seat itself is worn out. I've replaced the spindle shaft thing twice now. Yeah. Honestly, it's been fucking well used. Maybe we're black and red. A lot of guys actually quite like the whole black and red thing. I don't mind red stuff. Like, my partner picked out a red handbag for me, and it's been going pretty solid. I've had the most fucking compliments on that thing I've ever had on any handbag that wasn't like, oh, it was some kind of brand thing that was discounted. I didn't know it was a special brand or something. Apart from those cases where I've just accidentally purchased something really cheap. Yeah, a lot of people really like the red handbag. But generally speaking, like, all my shit's generally black, which I think is why Nick likes adding like a pop of color to stuff. Mainly it's probably lost some bearings somewhere. I thought so too, but I have checked because we're on carpet and stuff. Like, whenever I notice, this is something I've become aware of over the years of owning a house and stuff, is when you find a screw or a washer or a bearing or something like that just randomly in some part of your house, just put it aside. Like, make note if you can of where you found it, and then just put it aside, because it's very likely that something's fallen apart. Like, I didn't realize for a while that my my solar vent thing in my bathroom, it was dropping screws. It was glued to the roof with the paint. Like, the people that had installed it went really cheap with it, and they slapped it on right after the roof was painted, before the paint even dried. So it's technically glued to the ceiling. It's not glue. Trust me, we checked. It's paint. But yeah, it can't fall down on its own unless it's like really left for some years and stuff. But it did drop all of its screws at some point because, you know, it has a fan in it, and the fan shakes the unit a little bit, and over time that shaking has slowly like shifted the screws out and stuff. So, you know, if you ever sort of notice something on the ground that, you know, you haven't been doing technical stuff, like you haven't been building anything, just put it aside. It's probably something that you'll need soon. It's always really weird how shit's like that. It's like, how did this fall off on its own? What the fuck? Okay. Apparently mining invisible trees. Anyway, I'm going to go back over to the very visible looking trees. Is Perk up while asleep? No. What are you doing, Biken? What are you hearing? Probably all sorts of stuff. Know me. This is also great. I'll get rid of all these trees out of here. I planted these ages ago, and I'm like, I'll harvest them eventually. When I eventually do need wood again, I will harvest them, and I do need wood now, so yeah. I think I made like 100 and something spikes. And what would it be like if I was up here? I guess I'll have a road, but I'll be further away from getting over to the Horde base. But I'll be closer to some of the other areas, so it wouldn't be too bad. I'm considering moving base, honestly. Then I imagine they are jammed somewhere since it's forged together. In the chair itself, like I said, I had a look at all the external screws because like I put the chair together myself in the first place, so I know how it kind of goes together. The actual back of it, like it's literally like, I don't know if I've got anything on here that could like simulate a shape of it kind of thing, but like you see with like the jar here kind of thing, how like this curve, like you've got like the straight line of the side of the jar and it curves underneath to the base of the jar. That's how the seat is. It's one piece kind of thing. It's one solid chunk of something, whether it be metal or wood, I'm not sure. And then it's got padding like sewn onto that big panel piece kind of thing, which is why I chose it, because anytime I've chosen a chair that comes in two separate pieces, a top and a bottom, they always fucking break. And I'm not joking. I have on numerous occasions ended up falling out of the back of my seat while I've been using it and just been like, my bum is on the chair but my shoulders are on the ground. Like I've had this a few times. It's not ideal. I also just realized I should go back to Wrecked because I didn't actually hand in my quest. The base of it looked like. The base of it's, well, it's covered in the fake leather stuff, but I reckon it's wood. I reckon it's like all one piece wood, but then it's got like, I don't know, I guess like squares of padding, kind of, or squares and rectangles of padding, like probably fixed to the front of it. But the back of it's pretty solid. Like, hold on, if I'm safe here for a moment, you guys might be able to hear it. Hold on. Let me just do some work around. All right, you should be able to hear this. I'm pretty sure it's wood. I'm pretty sure the back of my chair is wood. I'm gonna say it's rebar then. Yeah, I'd say the wood itself has probably like either it's very slowly starting to bend and warp, because wood can do that over time. Or there could be like, for all I know, there could be a micro tear or a splinting in there or something, right? It could be falling apart inside on that part, because that's what I'm assuming has happened. Mind you, like, I'd really like to get one of those like soft mesh kind of ergonomic looking chairs kind of thing. Not like not soft what do you call it? Not like a soft material, not like a foam chair, but one of those like meshy looking ones. The only problem is I can't get that because I like my cats being able to sit on the back of my chair. Nick's chair currently isn't able to do that, so I still want to provide that for my cats, you know. So that's the only thing with that. Hold on. There we go. Spill a lot of drinks there. No. I'm actually, so as uncoordinated as I naturally am, I don't actually spill any drinks on this chair. I've never actually spilt one on this chair. Not even on me on the chair. Like, I'll sometimes like spill like a little bit of coffee on my boobs or something. That's usually where anything stops. Is usually it enters the bra and then I've got like this, yeah. I've got that to deal with kind of thing, you know. It doesn't go any further. But yeah, generally speaking, the only thing I could think of, well, I was wondering with like humidity stuff. I was thinking about how oh, there's a horde coming over here. I was thinking how last January we had that really, really hot summer, and because obviously I continued to stream and stuff like that, but like I was sweating absolute buckets all day, all night, around the clock for like months and stuff. There's a fair chance that I've sweated up the seat, and like I said, there's plenty of cracks in the fake leather stuff, right? So any of the materials probably absorb some sweat. But usually if it's like nasty sweaty weather, I'll sometimes put down like a sheet or a towel or something on my chair, just because A, I don't really like my legs getting stuck to chairs, and B, obviously like a lot of sweat, it's unpleasant kind of thing. But I also have an air conditioner in here, so it doesn't do heating, but I do have a heater in winter, sorry. Get my fucking tons of years right. So I have got a heater that sits behind me, it could have heated up the wood, and if Azula happens to be sleeping on the back of it, she could be pulling it further and further backwards because, you know, you can warp wood with humidity and temperature and stuff. So, yeah. There's all kinds of, like... There's all kinds of scenarios that I could have made this situation worse with this chair, but in saying that, it is also... I would probably say I've had it for at least 5 years. Easily 5 years, because I had it since... I would say maybe 2018 odd, give or take. I'm not 100% on that, but I do feel like that's around the time when I replaced it, because around, right, like probably 2019 is when I started, I don't know what's wrong with my trees tonight. Around 2019 is when I got into my last position where I was able to start replacing broken furniture, and I replaced my chair as one of my top priorities. So I probably had it since then, so it's probably 5 years. At least 5 years, you know? Hate sticking to things out. Yeah, see, a lot of the choices I make in my house, it's like, I don't really like the concept of like sticking to stuff because it's like, we're in Australia. Shit gets sweaty and hot. I'm assuming that I've got a latency issue tonight with these trees. But yeah, like I have like soft material couches and stuff like that. But again, there's an opposite side of that that's even worse, is when you're sweaty and you're sitting on like a material that can absorb it. That's horrible too. That tree looks like it probably was planted by itself. These ones probably not. There's something in there. There's something about the mesh chairs. I don't know. I know you said something about like the mesh chairs in there somewhere, but I can't see where it was. It was there and then it was like gone. I don't know where it went. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mind those. I don't know how I feel about them. I personally don't think that they're all that great because I imagine that after a while the mesh would give out and it would sag, right? It would either sag or like it would just be like, oh my god, these trees. It would just be like, it's not a secure type of material. I also have cats and stuff, so there's a chance that they could like claw it and unpick, like, you know, cut through the fibers and stuff like that, unlike with a seat and stuff. I have sensory issues. I do not like the stick things. I do not like these stick things. The cutting down the trees, or are we talking about the chair stuff? Let me know. Because like oh, your cats would shred the mesh. Yeah, that's my feeling too. Like the thing is, like, they don't get up on my seat part and claw that. They claw like the outer back bit, like down near the ground. And that's usually just to let me know that they're there and that they plan to jump up on the seat briefly. Because what they used to do previously, and it used to happen with Nick's chair probably the most, is like one of the cats would come in and they were going to jump up on the back of a seat and he wouldn't know that they were there. So he'd go to turn around and like leave or like turn around to pat the cat. And as he did so, the chair would go flying out of like where the cat could possibly jump up to. So the cat would jump up to like nothing and then just promptly either fall back down or like scramble and grab something. So they've kind of like, in a way, they've learnt to kind of knock on the chairs first by like giving them a brief little claw and then like coming up. And my chair's old. I do not give a fuck. Like, I own cats. I love cats. Like, it's just what they do. All my shit's slightly ruined. But at the same time, like, if somebody's going to come into my property and be like, judge me for having clawed up furniture because I own cats, like, they have more issues, you know? That's how I see it. So, yeah, I just don't care. Sticky chairs or someone touches me lightly. Yeah, I hate that shit too. I don't know. I've also got it now after, like, there was a stage where for some reason the internet just kept giving me all this like ASMR fucking videos and stuff. And I hate ASMR, right? And so it would give me videos of people like brushing their fucking hands over the camera and the microphone and stuff. And it just like makes me so enraged. But the thing is, now I can't stand it when people reach out their hands towards my face. So I don't know how I'm going to go with like medical examinations and stuff like that in the future. Because it just gives me that same sense of like rage that I'm going to hear something that's going to like hurt my ears kind of thing. I don't know how best to describe that. I have cats too. Yeah. Now, I think, I don't know. Even if I got a newer chair, like there was some that I was looking at, but the only problem is I'm not finding any at the moment that are like in the same vein of the same kind of chair that I have. The chairs go through stages, right? So companies will go through stages where they all look like little race car chairs. Other times they'll all look like their office business chairs. Sometimes they'll go through stages where they're all mesh, stuff like that, right? So it can be sometimes really difficult to find the chair that you want when the chair eventually does break. And I've had that a couple of times that I've made do with other chairs sometimes, but it's not always worth it to just get an alternative one. Sometimes it's better just to wait that longer with like a broken chair and just like get the one that you want kind of thing. It works that way to happily having paws held. No, if I can, yeah. I'm just going to give them a little quick squeeze. But at the moment, none of the places that sell computer chairs and stuff around here have anything good. They're all kind of like really decorative chairs. Like they look uncomfortable as shit, but they look pretty fucking decorative. So my guess is that it's just like a stage that these companies are going through, and if I wait another year, maybe they'll have some different variety kind of thing, you know? But apart from that, like I found some that are online, but they're like, who knows where in the world, and I know for a fact that the boxes that these particular chairs come in, because the back is one piece, the boxes are huge, so you can't get them in a car. They have to be delivered by a truck. I have got 2 chairs home so far in my car, but my car doesn't run at the moment. So, because my car, even though it's a little sports car, it has the biggest fucking boot on it, because the back seats go down and the whole boot and back seats area turn into like a mega boot. And it's a coupe, so it's got like that extra space. So yeah, my car can sometimes fit it if I get it out of the box. Although the funny thing is with these places is you have to, there's usually rules when you pick it up. You normally have to take it off the premise in the box, even if you've purchased it and stuff. So normally all you do is you put it in the car and you drive it just to outside their driveway, and then you pull it outside of the box and then just fit it in the car better. But yeah, that's usually how we work around it. It's so stupid. Nothing is what it seems when buying online. What I ordered never seems to match what I get. It's frustrating. Yeah, the other thing too is a couple of chairs, because I've got one saved to my throne just so I can keep an eye on it for the future in case I don't find a better one, right? But the chair that I've got on there at the moment, it looks all right, but it also looks a lot like the same kind of chairs that have like this under footrest thing. And I don't need an under footrest because I have a footrest. I have like a proper, we purchased like a proper like footstool thing or whatever for me to have that I can put with all of my chairs, and it's pretty comfy. Although to be fair, I'll be curious how that goes when I change from this seat to a different seat, because my seat should go down and then I'll be level with the footstool. So then my knees and my ankles will be a little bit higher than where they are at the moment. So my ankles shouldn't hurt as much, because at the moment most of my pressure is on my ankles for keeping me in place. Because like my chair does wobble a fair bit. And you can usually hear it when it wobbles around. You can only hear like clanking. So I try to keep it pretty steady. Stays under blanket while peeking out where I can tell. Happily laying on side, snuggling wolf plush, having paws held. Yawning. No, if I can. It sounds pretty cozy where you are. You sound like you're having a good cozy snooze. I'm probably going to have to plant more trees out here, but I'll take down this one. I think this was a natural spawn. The chair we got is nice. It has a footrest, but it slides in and out. Neck rest, heating component. You see, that's the thing, is the ones that I've seen that have the footrest. Let me go to the edge of the area over here. The ones that have the footrest, they do slide in and out. I think that's the same kind of thing. I don't need a headrest because I never put my head back. The only time I put my head back is to snuggle Azula when she's on the back of my seat. And yeah, I mostly want the big back on the chair for Azula so that she can lay up there. Phoenix doesn't lay up there as much anymore, but if I have the heater on, he sometimes sits up there. So it's nice. As for heating elements and stuff like that, like because of my OCD, I do tend to like wipe down stuff every so often. And so I'm worried if it has electricals in it and stuff. The other thing too is also having a chair plugged in, you know, because I mean, I've got a power board here and it's pretty well full, but I get worried, like, if I move the chair back or something like that. It's the same kind of concept of, you know, when you got plugged in headset, like, you just forget and you go to walk off and, oh, you know, you get pulled, like that guy, you just get pulled back to the desk kind of thing. That's how I sort of feel. But, if I was going to add any, like, embellishments, like heating or massage or stuff like that, I'd probably get, like, a, like, one that you could put on to insert kind of thing. That way I could add it and remove it as I need to, kind of thing. I think I'd enjoy that kind of thing, because there's a really good, like, massage thing. We got one for Nick's mum once. You can put it on any chair, and that's great. But I wouldn't want to sit on it all the time, because, like, that would hurt. It would hurt to be sitting on, like, a fucking massage knobbly things all the time. Like, you know, after sitting in this chair for enough hours, like, I feel the bones in my ass eventually. Like, yeah, it gets there eventually. So I want to be cozy. It's minus 25 degrees Celsius. What's that? Minus 25 degrees with wind chill. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I could see wanting to be, like, comfortable with that kind of stuff. See, I just do ambient heat with, like, the heater and the air conditioner and stuff, and then I add into it, like, a jumper and socks and stuff for my own temperature, especially since, like, my partner and I are two different, like, temperatures at all times. It does help. I don't want to go this far in, but this will be fine for the moment. I'll start circling back with this. I'm going to hear that a little bit. It lays on our chair constantly. Must be comfortable. Girlfriend got me a headset. I get up and move real fast kind of guy. I ripped it out and twisted my neck hard. Oh my god. Yeah, that shit can happen. So a lot of, like, my first headsets and stuff, like, I didn't do a lot of, like, I did online gaming, but I lived by myself. So I used to just put my, like, I had one of those really, really old headsets that used to have, like, you know, the soft foam over your ears, and used to have, like, the metal band that went over your head with, like, a little microphone boom arm and then a cable. Like, we're talking, like, old school headset type stuff before I actually started getting real ones. And I liked that because I had, like, such a long cable on it. It usually allowed me to stand up and lean behind me and, like, grab, like, art books and stuff like that, or move around on my desk. I don't know, we don't want to do that, put that back, without potentially getting surprised by it. But I was always really good about removing that when I was, like, I don't know, had that. When I moved to my next headset, which was my last one, it lasted for 10 years. It was so great. And it kind of, like, was both wireless and I could plug it in to charge it, right? And it was fine. It's just that I would always forget when I was plugged in charging it. But it had, like, I think, like, an 18-hour or something like that life on it. So it could go for a pretty long time before I'd have to actually charge it. But I could have to charge it sometimes in the same day while I was playing games. But this one, I think it does, like, 20-ish hours. I'm not 100% sure. I just go by the old one settings of, like, you know, what is it, like 18 hours. I assume that this one will do at least 18 hours because I know it will do more, but I don't know how many hours. It's supposed to do, like, 22 or something like that. Oh, my nose is itchy. Tail stops wagging, falls asleep, sniffing woolpush. No. I laughed hard after I stopped hurting. Yeah, it's usually pretty funny when, like, you get up with, like, gusto and, like, literally just, like, get pulled back to the desk momentarily with a headset. But at the time, it does fucking hurt. Like, I don't mind the wireless headsets now because like I don't know, I've got like multiple ear piercings and stuff like that, so it's quite nice not to have like it potentially yank on my piercings and stuff like that. Like that's the last thing I want it to do. But at the moment, like I said, tonight, one set of my piercings on one of my ears is kind of a little bit touchy, and so it's being like really sensitive. So I've got like that side lifted up a little bit, like propped up with some tissues and shit so that it's off my head and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's doing fine, but because it's like a wireless headset, I never really have to worry. I gotta open it a little bit wider when I pull it off my head and when I put it on my head. That's all I really gotta do. And it's mostly fine. Oh yeah, no, I've done that, not from an ear. I did that from my belly button once. I don't have a belly button piercing anymore. Well, there goes all of my seeds. So I don't know. I've still got time in the day. If I can go back and grab more of my seeds, I'll come out and I'll plant more. And yeah. I'll get them planted up and I'll make some more spikes and shit while I'm up there. Since I've finally collected all of my wood around the place. I don't mind putting them between the two mining locations. It's good. What's it almost did with a seatbelt that was bad enough? What with the belly button piercings? Yeah, I don't know. I did mine on my garage door. I had a belly button piercing. For anybody that didn't know, I had a belly button piercing several years ago, and I never noticed how close I stood to my garage door. Because like I always leaned away from it because, you know, otherwise if I don't, I'd just like slap my boobs kind of thing, right? On the way down. But I never realized that I only leant away on the top half of my body. I never actually, I literally stood like as close to the fucking door as physically fucking could. And, yeah, no,